Hi everyone, I'm Zen. Today I would like to address interesting questions regarding Dracena Reflexa from one of our viewers, SPXSP357. Thanks for asking it, and we can now start it. The first question is whether trimming off the leaves on the lower part of the trunk increase plant's height or not. Surely the plant's height will be increased at fast pace by cutting the leaves in the lower part. However, the plant should be placed where it prefers at most, by knowing of the characteristics of the plant. Regarding this, I will go through about Dracena later in this video. The second one is how we can increase the number of branches on a Ficus umbellata and a Dracena Reflexa. To increase the number of branches, we will cut the top of the plant, which is a growth point. After new rubs come out, the new growth point will be taken off again. By repeating this procedure, there will become many branches. As umbellata grows fast, it quickly recovers by generating new rubs. However, of note, it takes 1 or 2 years for Dracena to come back to the ideal status after new rubs are appeared. The last question is how we can turn a small Dracena Reflexa from a short shrub into a tree with branches. I would wait until when the plant's height gets tall and then cut the growth point in the top. Accordingly, we will expect many branches. If the method making branches is repeated, the shape of the plant will become as you prefer. Also, the trunk will be thick if all of the plant leaves are cut off at the growth phase and it's exposed to sunshine. Nourishment will be distributed to the trunk without leaves. Then, doing so many times leads the plant to be a big tree. From now on, I will introduce the characteristics of Dracena Song of India and Dracena Reflexa, as you can see here. This is Indiana with special white spots in their leaves. Reflexa has relatively sharp leaves. There is another Dracena called Song of Jamaica, which belongs to a series of Song of Indiana with green leaves. For Song of Jamaica, some species have variegated leaves and others don't. These Dracena shows a little bit different characteristics. Irrespective, these show resistance against dryness and are not tolerant with coldness in general. Therefore, we have to be careful for the place for them in winter. Leaves will be quickly dropped off under 10 Celsius degree and be withered if it is very cold. The plant can be put to place above 10 or preferably 15 Celsius degrees. The temperature control is important, especially for Reflexa, which is very intolerant with coldness. Similar with Dracena Masakeana, roots are not much developed in general. We anticipate root rot with wet soils because of providing much amount of water. In particular, Reflexa will drop off the leaves provide much water. Thereof, the water volume will be adequately adjusted. However, we rarely find out such Reflexa here with plenty of leaves. With the number of leaves, we need to keep much water. Due to resistance against dryness, the plant causes root rot by providing much water. On the contrary, watering is still important so that many leaves could come out. Having said that, it's difficult for the beginners to manage this plant, which is rather for experienced houseplant holders. Providing adequately sufficient water as well as keeping soil dried, then the leaves become lively. The plant looks very beautiful at most when the soil gets dried after water is provided. These are characteristics of Dracena plants. As time goes by and the plant grows up, you will see many spaces among leaves. As the strong growth speed is kept for a long time, branches get longer and longer with less management of this plant. Whilst it's easy to prolong branches, we cannot expect new leaves from old branches which the leaves were already dropped off. If you would like to generate new leaves in such spacious parts, we can make new wraps at the bottom, grow or cut the old branches in the middle. Then new wraps will come here expecting new leaves. Please watch out this Dracena under good condition. Leaves are in the upper part but no leaves in the middle. There are leaves again at the bottom, which is come from a different Dracena. Group planting was made to anticipate many leaves in the bottom part of the original Dracena. We can have more new leaves of Dracenas with leaves dropped off by grouping planting with a low and new Dracena. Otherwise, making new leaves is challenging for Song of Indiana Reflexa and Song of Jamaica. It's important to cut the trunk or branches for many leaves coming out. For opting for a bigger size of Dracena, you can see an example of the plant here in a 30 cm pot. This is a Dracena Song of Jamaica which was bought 5 years ago, and this showed a similar size with the Song of Indiana and there were many leaves. Dracena can become big when left for a long time. This was also left for 1 year, including a winter season after cutting all leaves last year. Therefore, this tree got bigger by extending trunk and branches. I saw that such a big Dracena would be demanded from customers. Therefore, I stopped applying the revival method to generate new leaves and just made it prolonged in the upper direction. You can leave a Dracena for a long time to increase the height. Honestly speaking, a size of pots wouldn't matter, neither repotting nor increasing the pot size. The tree can be increased as long as the temperature and water amount is well controlled. You can leave a Dracena tree as it is, since we could take a risk of expecting root rot by repotting to a new larger one. This Song of Indiana will be put at a bright place with a curtain along the window, avoiding leaves burned under the direct sunlight. Of note, spots in the leaves will be disappeared at a dark place. Water will be easily evaporated from a Dracena Reflexa due to the thin leaf shape. Therefore, the leaves can be dropped off if this plant is nearby ventilators or air conditioners. Reflexa will be well managed with a cool, sun-shaded, but relatively bright place. Depending on the deepness of the color of the leaves, the place for our Dracena plants could be adjusted in an appropriate way. How can we increase the height of a raw tree? As talked just before, only that we can do is being patient for plants' growth with giving water and by placing them where they prefer. If roots are full of a pot over long years, plant growth may be facilitated by promoting roots growth by repotting with new soil after cutting part over plenty of roots. Our next topic is about branching in details using this Dracena. As you can see, we can cut it here and new wraps will come out from this bumpy part. New wraps will be available by cutting the growth point at the top. However, we cannot predict where new wraps are come from. Anyway, please try to cut the place where you want branching for Dracena trees. This part is previously cut and new wraps are from here. New wraps are also in the opposite side this case. In brief, bravely cutting the growth point is a kind of prerequisite for branching. However, please be mindful for a risk that the plant can be withered from the point that we cut off. Of note, the cutting exercise should be performed at the growth phase of your plant, especially in spring. Your plant may be withered by doing so in cold winter due to less numbers of the leaves. We have many other methods whilst my belief is growing houseplants even in a small pot. I hope that helps you with growing your houseplants. If you learned about this method, almost all the houseplants including such a big tree can be managed in a 30 cm size pot. Please watch out it, which we can arrange such a big plant in a small pot by adequately providing water. If you get to know of this method, again you take many advantages for caring for your houseplants. You can save costs for outer pot covers and allow us to select many types of such covers which are available when we use small pots. We could be flexible where we can place our plants. This will be surprising to recommend using small pots. Nonetheless, please try this method with my special watering technique if you wish. As I am very happy to post videos for other topics as revival and introducing characteristics of many other houseplants. Please don't miss registering for this channel. So let's enjoy caring big plants in small pots. Bye bye.